Welcome back to the show. Grab some popcorn because this is going to be a juicy. File this under something you've never heard before. I'm going to teach you all of the backstory that you've never heard. If you don't know how to do the skill I'm going to teach you today, your fellow will be paid more than you. Ask me how I know. The title of this episode is That Time My Fellow was hired at a higher base salary than I was. And that's exactly what happened. Today, you're going to hear something new, though. I'm going to give you the three strategies to prevent this from ever happening to you and how to manage it in a way where you protect and strengthen your relationships. This should be taught in medical school. So here's the background. I was the attending, he was the fellow. I had all the leadership roles. I had the top RVUs. I had the publications, promotions, international recognition, leadership opportunities. And he had questions. Very nice guy. But he heavily relied on me and other members of the department to help him. This was technically not a superstar, and he got hired at a higher base salary than me. This, folks, happens every single day in the hospital. Do not let it happen to you. In this episode, I'm going to break down exactly what happened, how I found out about it, what I did, how I got it fixed. And you're going to get three lessons to make sure this never happens to you. Because here's what you have to know. This is what I learned the hard way. Being excellent does not guarantee top pay. Negotiation does. Having a quote unquote nice boss doesn't guarantee you'll be treated well and fairly and your seniority will be recognized, but negotiation does. So let's get into it. From the outside, it might have looked like I was a very hard worker. I mean, of course I was. I had sky high RVUs, writing the most papers by far, holding the most leadership positions by far. I was on accelerated promotion timeline, led international groups. And someone told me, and this person told me, this, by the way, was not a friend. She was kind of a frenemy. You know what I'm talking about. But she said, Christina, the state institutions' salaries are public knowledge. You knew that, right? And she said it in a way where she didn't quite say, but she was like, you better go check. And I have to say, this woman and I had an explosive, like we were a little bit like fireworks with each other. Um, but I have so much tremendous respect because she didn't have to call this to my attention, and I could have gone on making so much less money. I think that women helping women make more money, that needs to be our unifying. Like we need to be doing that. When we look at the pay gap, if we shared our salary information with each other, if we looked out for each other, there wouldn't be a pay gap. The reason why all these white dudes have inferior CVs and experience and status, why they're making more money is they're sharing information behind the scenes. So I'm going to be sharing all the dish here today. Get your popcorn. I didn't look at first because I was very much into my story of this woman and I do not get along. I'm never going to follow her advice. And then I thought, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Why would she be saying this unless she wanted me to see something? So I hopped online, I looked, and I was probably first heartbroken, and then I was raging mad. When I found out my fellow was making more than me, despite like him showing me all his hard cases, despite all of the extra work I was doing, despite me putting him on papers he really didn't belong on, but despite all this, I was making less money than him. It just was a very eye-opening moment. And I want to be honest, I was never mad at him. I was actually proud of him. Like, good for you. You go make more money. Like, we want that for the next generation. We want them to be hired at a higher salary than we were. That should be a fact. That should be true. I don't think they should be, I think, let me say it this way. I'm glad he was hired at a higher base salary than me. I don't think he needed to be hired at a higher base salary than where I currently was after 8 years of working or however many years of working. I think we all, like a rising tide lifts all boats. Like, yes, he should be paid top dollar. And so should I. And so should every woman above him, every senior woman who's helping him. Yes, we should all be paid top dollar, not just the average white men in the group. So, yes, totally happy for him. Of course, very glad. And I also knew I was going to have to do something about this information. Like, I could not, I literally could not live with this information. No, no, no. This is like one of those things. This is incompatible with this job. But it was like, what am I going to do with this? And so let me tell you the let me tell you what happened, the facts of it, and then I'm going to come back and tell you some really three key steps you need to know to work through this. So I didn't cry, I didn't accuse, I didn't get all charged, I didn't go into my chair saying, "How dare you? You know, you hurt me, you betrayed me." None of that. I walked in there and I said, "Listen, it's come to my attention that the fellow was hired at a higher salary than me. How are we going to fix this?" And before I even got that whole question out, just a couple of words, I got into it. My chair was like, "Fixed, consider it done." And she got very flustered. And to her credit, she did act fast. It required for me to have a higher salary than him, which was what needed to happen all along. I was maxing out the raises. I was going to have three raises over a year. The dean had to get involved to approve all of this. Just ridiculous that a chair can't just pay people top dollar, right? Like it was a headache for her to have to do this. So I can kind of sympathize like with this was not easy for her. The system is really set up against us 100%. Anyways, nonetheless, we got my raise or my salary was corrected. And then I was like, "Hey, guess what? My husband's in the same department. Let's do the same for him." So I negotiated with my husband and we got his salary corrected. So folks, here's some lessons. You are 100% not going to get what you don't ask for. 100% of the time, if you don't ask for it, it's not coming to you. If you get something, it will be a fraction of what's available, and the rest is going to go to Ken. You all know Ken. Ken is the average white dude in the department. You have to be asking. I know so many women, so many of my contemporaries, so many of my mentors would kill themselves slaving away at work and hope the boss would notice. They'd be in there on Sunday as if there's a badge of honor, being proudly walking around the department, see me, pick me. Girl, your boss isn't even there. She is home with her family. No one sees you working. You're just setting a bad example for all the junior faculty. You're telling them that they also have to work around the clock. That does not work in 2025. Working really hard at the expense of your family and everything that you value, hoping your boss notices, will not work. I'm an example of that in the story, right? Do not, which brings me to another pearl, do not go to sleep on your career. So if you listen to or I will be sharing this at the upcoming negotiation masterclass. I'm going to be sharing how I broke ceilings on salaries when I was hired. Don't go to sleep on that. Just because you're hired at a highest rate they've ever hired a new faculty doesn't mean you will be paid well continuously. It could mean that they hired you high and then they're just not going to give you a raise for a long time. Do not go to sleep on your career. Thank goodness that woman told me, go look and see what your fellow is getting paid. So I could see, oh, I was sleeping on my career. I could see it in black and white that there was a huge pay disparity that needed to be corrected. Next lesson, the fastest way to get to a $100,000 raise is to ask for it with our process, period. You will not get what you don't ask for. Don't assume because you're the workhorse, because you're the most visible, because you contribute at the highest level, because you're the one doing all the med school lecture for your division. Do not assume you're paid top dollar. You probably aren't. If you're not asking, you're not getting. The best salaries and schedules go to the doctors who can skillfully negotiate, not the ones who overwork and hope people notice. I say that with so much love because that definitely was me. And let me be very clear. Hear me. And I hope she's listening, or I hope someone shares this with her. She fixed her mistake. She is no hero here. She got caught with her hand in the cookie jar. She created the pay gap. She shouldn't be celebrating for fixing it. We should be like, why did you do this in the first place? She hired the fellow above me. She knew what she was doing. She created this gender pay gap. She wasn't sorry she did it. She was sorry she was caught. Here's the point. Just because your boss is nice doesn't really mean she's nice. It was a pretty, I can't say cut. I don't want to say cuss words on here because kids might be listening. It was a pretty terrible move on her part. But she really, after working with her 8 years, she did lots of terrible things. She seemed really nice. Many of you who don't really know her are going to think, oh, she was so nice. The nicest bosses actually aren't nice. Just because your boss is nice doesn't mean they're paying you fairly and they're treating you right. And also, I want to say I've had mean and terrible bosses too. Like, have we all? Yes, we have. And I'll say that just because your boss is kind of mean to you doesn't mean she's actually mean. My best job ever came from like one of the meanest persons I've ever met in before. Well, how does this make sense? It's because your ability to create top pay, great schedule, an amazing job has nothing to do with your boss's mood, ethics, morality, how she likes you or how she hates you. It has nothing to do with all of that. It only matters how you can negotiate, which is a great thing because you absolutely can negotiate, especially if you're in my world, will help you do that. But I want you to hear this. Your boss doesn't have to like you or be nice for you to be paid top dollar and have a good schedule. You just have to know how to negotiate. And I'm going to teach you three amazing skills right here. So here are the skills that you want to bring into your career so that your fellow is not paid more than you. We want your fellow paid well, by the way. Of course we do. But if you have 10 years of experience, millions of RVUs, you're the one writing the papers and looking at all the hard cases. We want you to be paid more than him because you bring more value than him. So, rule number one is keep your eyes open. Do not assume excellence equals income. It doesn't. Do not assume because your boss is nice, you're being treated well. That's not true. Do not assume because your boss comes to you for questions or gives you cookies on your birthday, but all things my boss did. Doesn't mean she's paying you well. She could be doing you dirty on the backside and up front smiling. The best schedules, pay, and perks go to the best negotiators, period. Not necessarily the best doctors. Now, I happen to think the best doctors know how to negotiate really well, and so they will be paid well once you know this process. But just be awake, be curious, be willing to ask. Look into your statewide database. How much is your fellow being paid? Make sure you're being paid more than them. Number two, surround yourself with women who know how to negotiate. I was on an uphill battle. I'll be very honest. I shared this with my friends and I got terrible advice from these very well meaning friends and mentors. Let me give you an example of what this advice was. One of my mentors, who you all know if you're in pathology, said, probably best not to say anything. You might not be getting more money because your husband's a doctor. Is it really fair that your whole house makes so much money just because you're married to a doctor? Oh, I am red in the face about that one. I was so pissed at that total nonsense. Did she know that my fellow was married to an anesthesiologist? They were both making a boo, just tons and tons. They were winning the lottery every year. That did not stand up at all. And also, it doesn't really matter who you're married to. You should be paid based on the value you bring to the organization, your expertise, your training, your skill set. It has nothing to do with who sleeps in your bed at night. That is ridiculous. The boomer generation, no thank you. You can take that back with you. Nonsense. Something else that I was told, and these are very well-meaning people, I want to say, like I'm still super charged over it because I think these women have gone on to tell this with just generations of women. So I want you to hear me. Do not listen to people who are not on your side. And do I think she was malicious when she gave this to me? No. I think she's from the boomer generation. Like she's doing what she was told. Like, she was single. I think there may have been a little bit of she didn't think it was fair that I was getting paid all this money because I had a husband. Maybe like people. What I'm saying is people aren't generally out to hurt other people. They're out to make sense of their world, right? So, but I'm letting you know, don't listen to that nonsense. I think she probably believed that generation really believes that there's a fixed amount of money and that if you get more, she gets less. And so she wants you to under earn for her so that she can say she's paid the most in the department. It's that kind of generation. And I take the opposite approach. I'm glad my fellow got paid more. It didn't mean I was going to take a pay cut. I was going to get paid more too. So we are all going to rise together. That's my philosophy. And that's how when you join my coaching program, we are not only going to focus on your salary, but it's going to be your spouses and everyone around you. Money is not limited in a hospital. I don't care what they tell you. Money is unlimited. It's an unlimited resource. There's infinite amounts of it. Even if your hospital's telling you, oh, we're in financial trouble, it's a lie. It's not true. Do not believe them. All hospitals have millions of dollars in reserves for emergencies. They absolutely can pay you well. They are paying the physicians who know how to negotiate. If you're not being paid well, it's just because there's a gap here. Other well-meaning friends told me she's going to be mad. You can't tell her. She's going to be furious at you for looking. She's going to say that you're such a difficult person and it's such a small world. She's going to tell everybody that you're a difficult person and then you'll never get another job. This was doomsday galore. Here's my advice for you, very well-intentioned friends. They were looking out for me. They didn't want me to get in trouble or lose this job. They had the best intentions, but here's my lesson for you. Lean in. You hear? Lean in. Do not take advice from other people who have not created six-figure raises, five-figure bonuses, or 4-day work weeks. They don't know how. They're scared. They're just going to give you scary advice. In my coaching program, you are surrounded with women who do six-figure raises, five-figure bonuses, 4-day work weeks in academics on a Tuesday afternoon. It's what we do. There is no other place in the entire world that does what we do. It's the norm. And when you're surrounded by people who are doing this, you will do it also. The third lesson I want to emphasize, this is really important because this is where I see so many women get lost, make an enemy of their boss, and then for sure that boss is out to push you out. This very nice boss I saw push many people out. Bosses, when they want you out, they will make you go. They will make you so uncomfortable. They'll take away your office and put your desk in the histology lab or in the hallway. They'll give you brutal schedules. They'll completely abuse their rights. They will do whatever it takes to get them out, and HR will back them. So don't make this mistake. I saw so many of my colleagues make. Here is the lesson, the third lesson. Use your data without drama. Don't go charge into that chair's office and say, how dare you, woman hater you, right? She's not going to help me if I go in there like that. Notice I went in there, I made an appointment, I showed up without any charge. I said, hey, listen, turns out I found this out. What can we do to correct it? Before I even got the full sentence out, she's like, done. We're going to get you above him. That was wrong. Do not take it personal. How you not have a lot of charges, you cannot take this personal. You have to manage your mind here. It's not easy to do. I'll be very honest with you. And this is why you have to have a coach. You have to have a therapist. You have to have someone on your side. I would say here, a career coach will be far better than a therapist. You want someone who's been through medical school, who knows what it's like to be done dirty by your chair. A therapist might be on the side of your chair. They don't understand the dynamics. You want a physician coach on your side. Use the information as data and leverage. Be strategic. Negotiate with our process. You cannot get yourself a $100,000 raise and get your husband one too while you're losing your mind in your chair's office crying. Your chair is going to get all distracted. She might get mad at you and try to push you out. Now, what I mean by this is hear me. I'm not saying don't be human. Don't go to toxic positivity. Don't ignore your feelings. Don't put your feelings in the basement. I'm not saying any of that, of course. If you remember my story, I said I saw that, I was crushed, and then I got real mad. But before I went to talk to my chair, I worked through my emotions. I told myself, and this will help you. What's the result I want to create? Do I want a ton of money? Okay, then I need to get myself into negotiating shape. Or do I want to explode on my chair and lose money, lose this job, and lose opportunities? Okay, I want the money, right? I want the money, I want the relationships. There's so much it's solvable over here. But the problem I think women, especially women physicians, will go is they assume their chair because they're nice is their friend. Their chair is their mom figure, that their chair has to treat them honorably. So when this happens, they feel a deep sense of betrayal. It's human. I get it. Bring that to me as your coach. I'll work you through it. Well, the simplest thing I say in this podcast with so much love, your chair is a business person first. She might pretend to be nice to you, but she's a business person first. She's not betraying you. She's making business decisions. And where she's coming from is her boss is pressuring her to save money for the university and the hospital. She is trying to survive a brutal system just like we are. We don't have to love what she's doing. We also don't have to blame her. You cannot negotiate with someone you're actively blaming and accusing of being like a misogynistic, terrible person. Those two things won't happen. You're going to have to pick a lane. Do I want to call her all these terrible names and damage my career and lose this job? Or do I want to show up and get the money and make this better and let her know I'm going to be watching her? Right? Choose the money. Choose the money. Because even exploding on your boss is not going to feel good. She doesn't care about your feelings. I mean, to be honest, like of course she might seem like she cares, but she doesn't really. She's a business person. She's the last person you want to give anything vulnerable to. It doesn't mean you have to go to work and think of her as an enemy. It just means like let's just be honest here. She's a business person first. We're a business person too. We're going to keep track of what's happening and we're going to negotiate to make sure our job is better every year. So take your emotions to your coach. I'm happy to help you with this. I have helped countless women with this. I really do think it's a secret of why we routinely have our six-figure raises, five-figure bonuses, 4-day work week, is because we deal with our emotions in charge here and we go to work as a business person there. And it's very effective. Do not, you are allowed to be human. Do not negotiate from your human emotions. Negotiate from your boss emotions, from your business perspective. So, a question that you may have is how can you check on incomes if you're at a private institution and there's no public database? Here's what I want you to know. It don't even matter. You don't need to check. You don't need people. I hear people outside of my program will get exercise about MGMA data. I'm like, MGA, my philosophy in MGA data, this is the database for physician salaries, is it's going to limit your earning potential. In my program, Next Level Freedom, we're not interested in MGA standards. MGMA standards, we're interested in breaking salary records. One of my chairs said, we paid the 50th percentile for MGMA data. And she said it like, ooh, that's hot. You know what that means? It means 50% of doctors of the country are making more than me. That's not hot, actually. So MGMA data is most commonly used against you. Universities cherry pick data to justify low salaries, terrible schedules. Don't buy into that. You don't need MGMA data. You don't need public data. You need a negotiation process and expert on your side. That's the fastest way to a 100K raise. And keep in mind, even at a public university, the public website, all that information is inaccurate. It tells you base salary, but it doesn't tell you bonuses, retention bonuses, favoritism bonuses, research dollars, all the other perks. Like it's just a starting point. It doesn't tell you everything. So don't get too focused on that. We teach you inside my program, we teach you how to have these very delicate conversations, scripts, timing, delivery, backups, everything else. Because if you do this conversation wrong, it really can backfire. Done right, it changes everything. There is a narrow path. You're going to thread the needle from this. We do this all the time. It's very easy for us inside our program. On your own, I would say be very, very careful. I would hate to see you doing this on your own. I think the biggest mistake women physicians make is they negotiate on their own. Don't DIY this. Hire an expert and get this done right. Some of our philosophy is always like, and I'll be teaching this, you should always be asking for more. It's not just when you start your job, it's every annual review. Your schedule should be getting better and you should be paid more money. Period. Your seniority means your job should be getting better, not worse every year, but you have to ask in the way that we teach. Otherwise, it can backfire. Every time you're asked to take on a task, to oversee a committee, to update the tumor templates, to teach the residents. Every time you're asked a big ask, you want to be asking, okay, for salary adjustments, for a bonus, for time, protected time for that. You have to be careful how you do it. We teach you how to do it inside my program, but you should be asking. Negotiating is a conversation that you have continuously to make sure your job is continuously you're getting paid more and working fewer hours. So here's some journal prompts. By the way, I started including journal prompts in the podcast. So if you haven't seen journal prompts from last time. I created them and I forgot to save them, but I did put them in the show notes. So go back and check them. Let me know if you like these journal prompts. Here's some journal prompts for you. Where am I assuming that hard work equals high pay and perks and good schedule? What data or salary information have I avoided looking at and why? What would I do differently if I believed that my job's fairness was my responsibility, not my boss's? Who in my circle is really good at negotiating? Who undermines it? How can I build out my team full of women physicians who are expert negotiators, who can support me, who can help put put me in the momentum of creating six-figure raises, five-figure bonuses, 40 work weeks? If someone else's raise has raised a standard, how can I use that momentum for myself? In conclusion, being underpaid isn't just a pay gap, it's a career gap, it's a retirement gap, it's a legacy gap. I've talked about this before. If you get started, there's a Ken, average white man in the department, and a Kelly, super experienced, overqualified. Ken negotiates for 100K raise at the jump of his career. Kelly doesn't. Ken will out earn Kelly over the course of his career $50 million just because he negotiated for a raise. It is not okay in 2025 to not know how to negotiate. It is essential. It is not a nice to have. It's not just for the white dudes in the department. It's for you. Because when you know these skills, you will be paid millions of dollars more. You'll be able to retire decades earlier. You'll send your kids to the top choice college, pay all cash, fancy first class everything. The only skill you have is you have to know how to negotiate. And that's what we teach inside my program. Do not wait for promotion. Do not hope for a nicer boss or that you outlive this one. Just learn how to negotiate right now. If this resonated with you, I want to know there are two ways that you can take this work further. One is if you're going to negotiate anytime soon, go to the show notes, book a free sales call. And on that call, I'll give you three specific strategies that will change your life. You'll have them forever and ever and ever. And if you decide you want to join my program, you can join as soon as this week. Second is a free live webinar for six-figure raises, five-figure bonuses, 40 work weeks, top negotiation strategies that were designed specifically for physician women. It is coming up on August 14th, and you can sign up now. Bring all your friends. I'll see you next time. Bye.